Hey everybody, it's Aaron. Welcome back. And this time we have a retro for you guys because I'm slowly working on my retro collection. As you guys seen, I've got the New Day, which you can pretty much see in the background there, and I've done a video on. And I was going to finish that series, series 5, I believe. It has the NWA Macho Man, but as you know, recently Zack Ryder, Matt Cardona, and Kurt Hawkins / Brian Myers got let go, and they got me into wrestle figure collecting. I'm a big fan of the Major Wrestle Figure podcast. It kind of irked me that I didn't have some of their figures. So I got the series. Does it say on here? I don't see it off the top of my head. Whichever series this is, you can look it up. The Matt Ryder from Mattel's Retro series. Of course, this is an out-of-date Ryder. This is Woo Woo Broski Ryder, but let's get into it because I want to see what his action is. So, real quick, front of the card. Sorry guys, I don't know why it's glaring so bad because there's not that much coming in my window at the moment, but front of the card. Back, he came in a set with Braun, Jeff, Iron Sheik, and of course Broski. So let's let them breathe, as they say, and see what this action is about. Okay, if you care about the QR codes, on the ones that don't have bases, because I did figure out not all of them have bases. It's in the packaging, so be careful with that. But getting her open here. Let's see. Everybody, we finally got him out of the package. So let's take a closer look at this guy and see what we got. So we're gonna come in closer here. Let me adjust the focus a little bit. It's still kind of reflecting a little bit, but he's got his spiky brown hair with a black bandana that says "Woo Woo Woo" in purple font with a silver outline. I believe this is 2010 gear, so you get Zack Ryder with no facial hair. It seems weird nowadays, especially if you watch the podcast, seeing him all baby faced up. Each of the hands has white wrist and fist tape, however you want to call it, whatever you want to call that, or I just call it wrist and hand tape. And he's got on black trunks with Ryder and purple font, stylized purple font with orange outline. And on his boots and kick pads, let's see if we can stick with me here, folks. You see that a little bit better. Sorry, it reflects a little bit. He's got that signature ZR in the same purple and orange font on his black knee pads and kick pads / boots. And that's really it for all the gear stuff. And the back doesn't have anything on it, and I couldn't find in my image searches a back shot of this gear. That's why I think this is 2010 gear, because it said Zack Ryder 2010. But I couldn't find any back shots to find out if that's how the gear itself looked or if it got cost cut. So I'm assuming this is accurate. So points of articulation. This guy, as you know, on most of the retro line, they don't have a whole lot of articulation. His head will go the whole 360. You can raise, well, you can spin each arm at the shoulder. This one, as part of the action feature, has the bendable elbow, which we'll get to the action feature here in a second. He can go about 90 degrees to your left, his right. That's also part of the action feature. So you don't have the full 360 that you do with some of the other figures. And the legs here do move a little bit, but they don't really go back. It like stays, so I don't think that's part of articulation. So I was at 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, 5 points technically. So again, these are made to mimic the 90s Hasbro figures, and they didn't have a lot of articulation either. So that's pretty much to be expected. Now his action feature is pretty cool. When he comes in packages like this, because you remember back in the day, he'd do the fist bump, go woo woo woo, so it came like that, and it's called the fist pump. And you just push him back, and he's spring loaded and comes forward. You can do it that way. Now why these are my favorite kinds of actions, you can do that. You can do a traditional clothesline, right? Or you can bend it in and it can just be, well, if it doesn't, and just sock somebody in the face. That's pretty cool. Now, I don't know if this is true for all of these. Sorry guys if the cat hops up in the background here in a second. But when I got mine, I couldn't get him to move. And I was like, but he's supposed to do the clothesline thing. And I was real concerned because I don't like forcing things. And I was like, why is it? And I looked it up and I was so confused and I forced it. And I don't know if the camera will catch it. And it's kind of worn down anyway, but you guys probably can't see it. But right there's a little bit of flesh color. So either plastic or paint had melted, I guess, when they were putting it together manufacturing, and had set up there so it couldn't move. So when I forced it, it popped. So if you get one of these and he doesn't do that, that could be why. I don't know if that was just a mistake on mine at the factory or if that's how they all came. So I can't really speak to that. He is also in Series 8 with Sheik, Braun Strowman, and Jeff Hardy, and that's one of the series that didn't come with the Superstar bases with like his logo. Like the New Day, if you remember when I did that article. So you may want to get a stand for him. He stands, like, let me shake my, like, he's standing pretty good if you didn't want to. But I like stands on mine, so I have some of the ringside stands just to help it because he's way less likely to top over, even though you can see he stands pretty good. But if you were that kind of a collector, you might need to pick up some bases. But you can just stand him on the shelf, which I had to do, as you've seen in my intro of the video, behind me on the shelf. Now, let's show you how this is supposed to work. Have a little fun, because I don't care what anyone says. They go, I'm an adult collector. You still want to play with them a little bit. You may not pull them out like you used to, but you still want to. So you get him, and then let's figure out a good way to twist him, and then give him the clothesline. And then, like I said, another fun one you can do. It's the same thing, but you can do that and then punch them. So I like that. And you know, it's just, they're fun. They're a really fun toy. Like, I'm a fan of chibi type action figures in like anime and manga. So I love I call it the cartoon-esque aesthetic. Admittedly, it's copying the Hasbro's, so they had a bit of a toony aesthetic. And I kind of like most of the action features, as I've said, and this is not related to this figure. This action is probably my least favorite, where you put the arms up, put them there, and they spring back because it doesn't throw them very far. But they're fun, and it's a good caricature of like your favorite superstars if you like them to collect them. And they're fairly cheap. Most of these are, if you can get them on ringside, about $9 to $12. Some of the other ones are going for a bit more now on eBay because there's been a big sort of increase in interest for the Hasbro's. But it's a good little line to collect. And, you know, if you got a little one in your life that maybe you want to, that likes wrestling, or you want to get them started collecting, they're not that expensive. Sorry, it's the kitty hopping around on the stuff behind me. Or they're not super fragile. Like some of the elites, they're not fragile, but because all the points of articulation could be easily broke, you can put these in your pocket and go. So they could be a good idea for little collectors, because as I've said many a times, I believe we need to share so these hobbies continue on. And that's about it. Unfortunately, I love Zack Ryder, but this one doesn't have a lot of intricacies in the gear to really talk about. But like I said, one of my favorite actions so far are the ones I've got. This is the only one with the punch action that I've got, but it's one of my favorites. Anyway, guys, Share whatever your hobby is. If it's collecting figures, video gaming, playing a card game, whatever it may be, share it so it'll grow. And I'll see you next time. Oh no, he's done. And then you get on with a really crappy Rough Rider because you can't do it because its legs don't move. Anyway, guys, I'll catch you next time. Peace.